The perception that I had that Malaysia was just a jungle and an island with palm trees. How did I end up in Malaysia? Well, this is a question that everybody asks me. Let's start this off, shall we? So it was October the 7th, right? Lots of things happening and my head was going round in circles and my brain was bending in different angles and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I need to get out of here. So I did some digging around Muslim countries because obviously I'm Muslim. I want to go somewhere. There's going to be ease of prayer. There's going to be halal food and I can just be who I want to be. So I made a list of all the Muslim countries and I ticked them off as I went along and I visited some of them. I went to Turkey, I went to Egypt, I went to Morocco, and none of them felt like home. You know, when you go out and you view a house and you could see 10 different houses and some of them might even be the same, but there would always be that one that you walk through the door of and you feel like this feels really good to me. So I'm going to come to that bit next. Anyhow, did all of these countries, loved them all. I can't fault any of them. However, my digging came a bit deeper because I was looking at United Nations and I was looking at the countries and I was looking at laws, and I'm not against common law, but Sharia law, if you really know about it, you will understand that there is a lot of beauty and justness in Sharia law, not the kind that you've been exposed to or told about, the right stuff, the good stuff, and that ultimately that Sharia law, the governor, the ruler, the judge, let's say, of Sharia law, if people break it, is the creator. And people have a fear of that because of their faith and their belief. So it's very different to common law where you're going to be scared of going in front of a judge and chucked in prison, right? This is a bigger picture than all of that. Anyway, I found that Malaysia, I saw it. I disregarded it. I was like, nah, forget that. 14 hours. There's no way I'm getting on a plane and going all the way to Malaysia. Not on your Nelly. Anyhow, I spoke to my brother. And we were talking about, migration and living abroad. And it's always been something that I was going to do. I was always going to live abroad eventually. A lot of people from the UK do it, in fact. You don't have to be Muslim. You don't even have to be brown. You just decide that you want sunshine. That's usually the driving force and the reason why people go. So my initial plan was I was going to retire in Turkey, get myself a villa, enjoy my life, go to the beach, swim in the sea, all of that stuff when I retire, which I was close enough to. I owned a place already in Turkey, in Altinkum. It's called the Sandy Beach or something like that because it's known for its golden sands. That's it. If you're Turkish, you know. Right? And I love Turkey. The food's great for me. The location was easy, but it just wasn't ticking all the boxes for me right now because I wanted to be able to work and language barrier becomes a complication. And I knew that having lived there. So Turkey got crossed off the list. And I did visit Egypt and I very much liked Egypt, but it was just too close to where everything bad was happening. And I thought, I don't want to be too close to that. Where else is there? Pakistan, came from Pakistan. Parents were there, seen it. I know exactly what happens over there. And it's not for me. Not as a woman. Anyway. So, Malaysia. Or, hang on, UAE. Would I live in the UAE? That was something. But my brother and my daughter lived in the UAE and my mum lived in the UAE. Now, as far as economic development, growth and prospects are, yeah, Dubai was the destination for that. My brother did really well out of it. He made a business. He came back with the money and bought a house, But for me, I've been there almost every single month of the year when my mum was there, of course. Mum's there, so I was there always. And I remember going there when it was burning hot. Burning hot. And I was like spending all of my time indoors, in cars and what have you. So that level of heat was a little bit of an off-put. What else? The traffic, that was an off-put. And also, what else? I must admit, there was that divide, the one I'm talking about, the labourers, and it's common knowledge. I can't even need to go into detail on my podcast here. However, things have changed significantly since then. But I see it more as a business opportunity. I don't see it as a place to go that I could call home. And it was only when I had that decision with my brother, because I didn't want to do the mileage on my own with my daughter and my sons, any of them really. I wouldn't go with kids. So when my brother's like, all right then, I'll go with you. I he'd just come back from Brazil and he'd done, I don't know, 11 hours to Brazil. And he said, it's not that bad. So I said, all right, let's do this then. So we went for a direct flight straight from the UK, straight to Malaysia, 14 hours, got on the plane, free internet, 14 hours flew by, guys, because I had so much to do, whether it was work or whether it was socials, but I had plenty to do. So with the internet, the time flew by. We arrived in KL. We stayed in KL for a good few days and we enjoyed our time there. We went to eat, we went to Petronas, we experienced a lot of difficulties because we weren't prepared for the whole card system, the QR code system. We weren't ready for that. We weren't prepared for their wallets and topping those wallets up. In fact, I took some cash with me and boy, was that a bit of luck, because I've got several bank accounts and I spread my money out across different banks. But we were finding it really difficult to withdraw money from ATMs. I really don't know why. I think I ended up getting some money from Barclays. Halifax wasn't working. NatWest wasn't working. Did I have Starling at the time? I don't think I did. Anyway, I just found it difficult to withdraw money. So, and my brother absolutely messed. He couldn't withdraw anything and he's only got one bank account, right? So luckily, me being the organised financial advisor amongst us, I had things in a line and we managed to get money out. But we were at our last legs because I only took so much cash with me. I didn't take much. But we were really down to the last pennies on our last day. Anyway, KL, enjoyed it, loved it, experienced it. I think there was like Chinese New Year at the same time as well. And just what felt right. I didn't think I was going to find what I found. I thought it was coconuts and palm trees and was astonished, amazed at this concrete jungle, KLCC, lights, glamour, tech, everything was there. Not only was that there, the diversity was there. There was Chinese people, there was Pakistanis, Indians, you name it, Europeans, Brits. Everyone was in KLCC and everyone was happy and everyone was enjoying each other's company. Now, considering that there's large 99% Muslims there or whatever the percentage is, don't knock me on it, and it's secular, I thought it was a Muslim country. It's not. I get reminded of that. It's secular and I accept that because, you know, the country does run on everything being for the Muslims. But it doesn't stop anybody else doing their worship. It doesn't stop them from dressing how they want to dress, as long as it's, you know, not kind of like, you know, how it can be here in the West. But in hotels, you know, places like that, you can do what you want. But if you've got somebody sat there in a bikini, you know, you've got somebody sat in a burkini, nobody's judging, nobody's looking. It's just everyone is just being and being friendly. Anyway, KL, we did KL. The plan was to go to Penang. Like, we were going to either do a road trip. We're trying to work out how to do that as well, by the way. Do we road trip it? Do we fly it? Not sure. And I think we came with luggage. So the internal flights don't let you take a lot of luggage. So now you're left with this issue of where am I going to put my luggage? Am I going to pay for accommodation here as well as there? Talked to a few people and they said, why don't you drive and stop at Malacca on the way? Malacca's 3 hours. Stop there for a bit. Great place to stop. After that, another, I don't know how many miles it'll be. You can head off to Penang. So we agreed, took the taxi ride, took us from KLCC, where we stayed in the Platinum suites, which were absolutely amazing for the money and really close to the main centre. Oh my God, forgot to tell you about Jalan. It's amazing. We were out till 3 o'clock at night, you know. I don't stay out that long. And it's just vibe again, you know. And we went in December where everybody goes, oh, it's monsoon, it's raining, it's not the best time to go. Yeah, you got a bit of rain. It held out for a bit and then it was gone again. And then everybody's back to business and the fella selling umbrellas made a little profit. You know, it was awesome. But there was so much food and people out and we had our massages. Like every street corner, there was somebody offering you a foot massage. And it wasn't just a foot massage, it was your calves as well. And it cost you $5. I was like, I'm going to have one. I don't even know how many I had. I've lost count. So that was my KLCC experience, apart from the lights and the vibrance. But seeing all of this people and you know, just how things were transactions, and you could see the business happening. You could see people are successful because, you know, you've got some people that might not be as successful as others, but there is success to be had in KLCC. And you know, all of the top of the range malls, if you want them, and you could get the middle ones and you can get the cheaper ones. It's all there in KL. I want to live in KL actually when I go back. Right, so KLCC's done. We're now heading on to Malacca as guided by somebody, and I think that it took us probably just under 2 hours because getting out of KLCC's traffic central, and then when you hit the road, we stopped off en route, stopped off at the Seremban service station, did our prayers, had a bite to eat, and then off we go again. Got to Malacca and we stayed in Amber Cove. £25 a night. Lovely new apartments, I would say. But what this Amber Cove did have was a really nice floor where there was a pool, there was like play areas, there was a barbecue area. And the nice thing was that lots of people would congregate in that area and just chat. People talk to you, especially when you open your mouth and there's this accent that comes out of you. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're from England. Can you say bottle of water? Literally that and Harry Potter. That were the two things that everybody wanted me to say. So Amber Cove, then we ended up going to, what's that street called? I can't remember. It's going to come to me in a minute. But into the centre, into Malacca, done a little river cruise. That's day one, right? Got in a grab, sorted all that out now, understand it, but still got problems accessing money and loading money onto our touch and go. Don't understand it, right? It's like, why is this not loading? It was really confusing. Now it's quite straightforward because I know how to do it. Thinking of relocating to Malaysia? Well, I've just done something and it's almost finished. It is a book and a guide and everything that you can ever imagine to do with relocating, the way that I did it, with every step by step, but also links and support on how to get work, how to get a home, and how to get settled, and how to sort a visa. All of it, everything in a book with references, with people that will support you, because I just want to make that whole relocating experience easy. Malaysia was my first stop. That's my destination. And if you're thinking of doing the same, trust me, it's not difficult. I'll help you make it easy. Right, so there we were, right, in Malacca, and we were sitting in Amber Cove, woken up the next morning, looked out the window, looking at the roads and the structures and the pitched roofs. And I said to my brother, this looks like London. And he looked out and he went, you're right. The structure, the layout, the houses, the pitched roofs and the string of terraced style houses. And after having lived in KL for a little while and then coming to Amber Cove, we were starting to warm up. And we're like, I could live here. And he said, I could probably live here as well. So we decided to stay in Malacca and do more exploring on the basis of potentially living there. I'm thinking to myself, you know what, I like it. I could live here. Let me find out about the property. And I was starting to understand like areas and how much you could buy for. So I found myself an agent, went on Property Guru. And all I can say is that that was a nightmare experience in itself, because they just don't listen to what I'm saying and what it is I want. Ended up showing me houses that I wasn't necessarily interested in. I concluded, I said to her, look, I'm going to pay you to find me what I want. And she did exactly what I wanted when I started to pay her, because, you know, they're not thinking about commission now. They're thinking about the payment that received, and they want to make the sale off the back of that. So I paid her to do the job as a property finder. This is what I want. She came up with a couple of options. She took me there and bang, it was exactly what I was asking for. But what was I asking for? I was asking for what I had. Like here in the UK, I live in a community. I live in a nice modern new build house that's quite spacious. And it's kind of could easily be a gated community, but it's not. Anyway, Malaysia's gated community, got the pool, got the gym, loved the house, huge, in my budget. I'm having it. So I put my deposit down, and that was in the December, literally the first time I went. And I know that sounds a bit spontaneous, but I know sometimes I feel like I don't know what, I just make a decision, but there are processes happening in my head that I might not understand. And having been in the estate agency game, having been in the financial game, it was a smart decision, because the house was on a new development. The development is not complete and it went up in value. So To me, I wasn't doing it for investment. It was, I want a house, I want a base, this is affordable, I've got the money, I'm going to buy it. And I'm going to move here, I'm going to live here, whether it's part-time or full-time. That's what I'm going to do. And so it was a little bit out of the way, which I didn't mind because I don't like being right in the middle of the town and too close to all the facilities, amenities, because it gets too busy, and I want to be like out of the way, close to the motorway, exactly like the house I've got in the UK. And so anyway, that's what I did. I put my deposit down and I left the rest to her. She got me the lawyer. She got me 3 quotes, chose the lawyer, happy with her, them 2 connected, them 2 pushed through the transaction. And I think while I was there that time, no, the second time when I actually made my move, when I packed my 7 suitcases and I hopped it over. I need to do a piece of content on it, guys. That's exactly what I did on the build up to my move. I kind of subconsciously was already emptying the house out because I was decluttering my head, and so I was decluttering my home, and that almost prepped me up nice and ready for when I was going to pack my bags. And I didn't need to, I could afford the house here and had some savings. I had money in place, and that's the only way that you can do things. It gives you the freedom to make those choices without them being too hasty. And I spent a long time. So I decided, right, I'm out of here. I have nothing stopping me. Why don't I just go? Packed my bags, told the kids, we legged it, and we started living. I rented a house out in a nice development. I bought a car, just got straight out there, had the money, buy me a car, and replicated my life in the UK. And I replicated that in Malaysia. And sometimes I wonder, what the hell was I doing? But now I'm happy about what I have done, because it's scary, right? You've got some money. We don't have a lot of money, but you've spent your whole life making it, working, grafting, piecing it all together, making smart investment choices so that when you start from nothing, that you have got something when you get to a ripe age. So now I've got my rental house and I've got my own car. We did some touring, and at the same time I was vlogging, and I didn't realize that you guys were all watching to the extent that you were watching. And it really opened my mind up that too many people are thinking along the lines of the way that I am, or I'd opened up their minds to Malaysia as an option. I'd never heard of it. I'm a lived gal, as in a place to go. It was just not on my list. And I guess some of you have, but that inspiration came from somewhere. Mine came from some research and then asking a friend, what is Malaysia like? And the answer was Jannah. And I thought, can't be that good. There's no way. I've got to go and find out for myself. And I'm like, describe it. Greenery, palm trees, coconuts, waterfalls, parrots flying over your head. I was like, yeah, all right then. All right, where am I, in a jungle? That's honestly the perception that I had, that Malaysia was just a jungle and an island with palm trees. Get there, totally different scene. So, Malacca, my house is set up. It's already furnished, right? Walk in the park, easy. All I need to do is go to the local Aeon and get myself some bedding and some food, and I'm off. Touring around, it is just out of this world, but you're blending that with the real modern world, and you've got all of this natural beauty that has been preserved. I will give them that. But at the same time, the country was very clearly and obviously looked after. I mean, the roads were in good condition, the motorways, the discipline, the cleanliness. Everywhere is clean. The people are clean. Now, I'm not digging at the UK, but public toilets, the state of it, utterly disgusting. The streets, disgusting. You know, you want your country back, but you treat it like a dustbin. Enough said. Another one of the reasons, right, I had to leave. Bins not being collected, you know, the government's falling apart and all that. So where are we now? We're in Malacca, right? And then from Malacca, that's it. We didn't go anywhere else. We literally explored there. We found ourselves places to wash our clothes, places to eat out every day, enjoyed variety of food, enjoyed the connection that people were making with us.
Subscribe so that you don't miss out on more videos like this. Go on, hit the subscribe button now.